Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am really excited for today's video because I don't think I've done one of these videos since 2022, and I love watching these myself, so I don't know why I haven't been doing them more frequently. But we are going to go over my favorite items in January, and I do have some fails unfortunately, but we will definitely talk about those towards the end. Now you guys, before we jump into it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell for notifications, new videos, and if you like this video, make sure you hit a big thumbs up. But if you want to see what I was using the most in January, just keep watching. Okay, you guys, so I got back into town last night from Michigan. There were some things that I had to take care of, including my grandmother's memorial. And on our road trip back, because Luke and I drove back from Michigan in a winter storm, we hit the snow in Indiana, but we made it through. Thank goodness the Jeep has four-wheel drive. But we were talking about some things with my channel, and he is a huge supporter. Like, he absolutely loves that I do YouTube and thinks it's quite interesting, even though it is a beauty channel. But we were talking about things that I haven't done recently and that I want to get back into it. And he's like, if it's something you want to do it. Like, he supports this channel so much. Definitely a subscriber, sometimes a viewer. I think he's wondering what I'm thinking sometimes, and maybe he's watching those videos. But I have a bunch of stuff in front of me that I have been using, whether it was on camera or off camera. I have some things, like a couple things in each category. I figured we'd jump in, talk about them, and maybe you have some of the same favorites. And if not, let me know if I need to try them out or, give them another shot. But I figured we would go in the order that I usually do my makeup, which is primers. And this one actually surprised me. I was going back through each of my videos to see what products I had been using and reaching for, and this one, it's not new. I don't think I haven't tried any new primers that I was absolutely in love with. But this one I was using in November, December, January, and I'm almost out of it. This is the NYX Plump Right Back Plumping Serum and Primer. Do you see? It's right there. I may have to go repurchase this because it is so good, and from the drugstore. This, however, does not fill in my pores. So I do use it with my Tarte Timeless, which I have finally repurchased. If you guys saw some of my more recent videos where it is completely empty and I was just scraping the bottom, I did go repurchase it, but I absolutely love this primer from NYX. And it gives my skin the hydration it needs, especially in the winter. I don't know that it's something that I use in spring and summer because it is a little more hydrating and I get to be a little more on the oily side in the summer than I do the winter. So for right now in winter, in the colder months, this has just been my go-to on my skin, making it more hydrated, and it also helps my foundation lay down so nicely. And what I was pairing this primer with, since we're talking about foundation, the first one and this one I was using nonstop. Also not new, but this is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I took this on travel with me to Spain. I was using it in December. I know I used it in a couple of those videos. And then for January, absolutely been loving this because as I've gotten older, I have moved away from mattifying foundations. They just seem to sink into the lines that I do not want to define. This on a hydrating primer and then using a setting powder to mattify and smooth and blur my pores, absolutely the best way for my skin. And we all have our things that we don't like, but for me it is the lines in my forehead. They're there. Just trust me, they're there. Along with the NARS Light Reflecting, I have also been using, and this one is going viral on TikTok. I just used it again in a video because I was like, oh, let's talk about this, because I have been using it and I really like it. The downside is I have it in a darker shade for when I have a tan, just not as tan as I would be in the summer. This is the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. It's been going viral And it for a good reason. It is absolutely beautiful on the skin. So I grabbed this again. I was playing around with it. I used it in a video to show you guys. But for me, I can also, thankfully, with setting powder, this one is the Givenchy Prisme Libre. What is it? The Matte Finish and Enhanced Radiance Loose Powder in Voila Rosé. I've been using this, or even the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom. That will also lighten it because it's a little bit on the darker side, which also brings me to my favorite setting powder besides my Huda Beauty. I use that one in every video. So let's talk about the other one that I've been reaching for, which is the Givenchy. Beautiful, a little pricey, but beautiful. So along with that, and this is the last foundation, I swear it, but these three were in rotation. This is the Givenchy Prism Libre Skin Caring Glow Foundation. Also, it has the nice, beautiful, glowy skin that I get with these two foundations. So there's a trend here. The glowy foundations have been those that have been working the best for me. And crazy enough, I wasn't reaching for all of my like drugstore foundations. I only have one that's like a serum glowy, and I messed up. Oh no, I have two. I have the L'Oreal. It's a Skin Radiance for like older, mature skin. That one is really beautiful, but I didn't reach for it as much as I did these three. And then there was one that the color match was not there, and I couldn't save it with powder. It was the e.l.f. Glowy CC foundation. I still need to pick up a new shade and try it out and give it a fair shot. Maybe we'll see it in February. But those three foundations absolutely hit the mark for me in January. For concealers, you guys, I only have two, and they absolutely help with my under eye creases. No matter what. A concealer can say that it is creaseless and it's not going to bunch. If you have under eye creases like I do, and that is just from normal age, it happens. It doesn't matter. You can still, like, depending on how you apply it or wear it, what powders or foundations you like pair it with, you can help. But the two that I absolutely loved most of the end of the year into January, this is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. Love this one. And then the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. These two, so good. This one I reached for more than I did the Huda Beauty, but they are both so good. This one, the Huda Beauty, or the Natasha Denona High Glam, when you put it on, it is a self-setting concealer. I do still go and set mine with a powder because I tend to get oily just right through here. So I know that I need some extra help, and setting powder definitely does that. But when you go to set it, so I'll do my contour, I'll do my bronzer, I'll do my concealer, and then a cream blush. Lately, that's what I've been gravitating towards. But when I do my blush, by that time, any other concealer starts to like bunch and be gross underneath the eye. The nice thing with the Natasha Denona one and the Huda Beauty, if you take your ring finger and just gently pat it out and then go in with your setting powder, it smooths the under eye and you see less creasing. You can do those little tips and tricks to help out. It doesn't always work with other concealers. I've had one where I tapped it with my finger and it just came off my skin. But if you do it right with the right concealer, which these two will let you do that, it smooths it out so nicely. Okay, next we're going to talk about contour. And I have two as well. One is more affordable, one is a little more pricey, but they have both been doing the trick and I absolutely love them. The first one is from Moira. This is I've been using it so much that it's coming off right now. This is the Face Sculpt Liquid Contour. I have mine in soft warm, which is 200. I traveled with this in November to Spain. I used it a bunch in December and January. This is so good. I love the doe foot applicator. I probably need to get a new one, but it has such a big doe foot. You place it where you need it. You go in with your brush and blend it out, and it just looks so beautiful on the skin. The other one that I've been using that is a cream is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. This one, I know I need to replace it. It is definitely getting low. I can hear it a little bit like moving around, but I reach for this all the time. You can either place it straight onto your skin and blend it out, or what I like to do is I like putting it on my angled contour brush and then placing it where I want to. It just depends on the day, preference. But these two for contour have definitely been my go-tos. I only have one cream bronzer in front of me, and then I have a powder. So this is the Say Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer in medium. I have been loving this so much. It blends into the skin so beautifully. There's definitely a divot. I don't know if you guys can really see it. This gets so much love, and I just discovered this last year in 2023. If I did a 2023 favorites, which there was a lot going on, I didn't get around to it, this would have been in there. I have mine in shade medium. It is definitely buildable, and I love how when it goes onto the skin, it's literally in the name, it just melts into the skin and looks like your skin. It doesn't look like it's just placed on top. It is absolutely beautiful. And then of course, I do have one powder product for contour and bronzer, a face palette if you will. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer Contour Palette. I got this probably like August, September I saw it come out, I think. It is so good. I would travel with this, especially because I'll do my cream contour and then do my powder. If I feel like I need a little more oomph, I will go into this little contour shade right here, which I've already hit pan. I don't normally hit pan because I don't use all my products the same, especially with being on YouTube. I try out so many new things. When I do hit pan on something, I'm like, yes, we are making a dent. That has definitely been this contour shade. And then the bronzer, there's so much in here for this bronzer, but I do love Physicians Formula. It has such a beautiful scent. I love the scent of their butter bronzer. It's so beautiful and luscious and just reminds me of a tropical island, especially in the winter. So this was definitely something I was reaching for, just to, you know, zhuzh it up a little, if you would. This, so beautiful. If you haven't tried it out, I know it can be a bit intimidating for the shade. I don't know if there's lighter shades. I know that I'll go in gently and I will build it up because no one wants to have a really dark forehead if it's not your skin tone. So this is beautiful. I haven't used this shade underneath the eye just because I don't know that like it's my favorite color for under the eye, but these two for contour and bronzer have definitely been it. Now blush. And this one might surprise you guys if you saw one of my videos towards the end of January. This was something that I reviewed while I did the Kema Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. It's also what I'm wearing on my face. You can go in, tone it down, just build it up gently. That is not what I did in the video. I just went, whew, and it was all of a sudden very strong, and I was just like, maybe I messed up my makeup. I got a lot of comments from you guys. I really appreciate that. Just tips, tricks, or, you know, just reassuring me that it didn't look horrible. This is the Natasha Denona Berry Pop Cheek Trio, which we've talked about the packaging. I absolutely do not like this packaging because it shows all the fingerprints, and it's one of those things I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful package when there's no fingerprints. But this is the Berry Pop Cheek Trio. Look at, it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. Definitely just in time for Valentine's Day. This shade goes down first, which is a cream to powder formula. You put that on. You can leave it like that and it'll be a matte blush shade, but if you want to give it that like pop, this glowy, it is the Tinted Glow Cream Base. So beautiful. I have it on my skin right now. You can just kind of see the glowiness to it. I absolutely love it. There is a highlighter in here. I do reach for the highlighter quite a bit. It's not what I have on my cheeks today. I actually reached for one of my other highlighters that I absolutely adore as well. But this cheek trio, I traveled with it. It went with me to Michigan, and it is so beautiful. It just kind of warms up the skin in the winter when it's just kind of chilly and a lot of cool tones are out and about. I just wanted to like brighten up the cheeks a little bit, put some life back into my skin. So this one I definitely reached for. Even after I was like, I went in too heavy with that. I didn't. It wasn't something I was used to because I was so used to using lighter shades like this one. This is from RMS Beauty. This blush is the Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. I have mine in the shade Bohemian Girl. This peachy, like corally shade, absolutely stunning. Just look at that. It kind of gives me NARS Orgasm vibes. Like, it's so beautiful. If you hear what sounds like zoomies right now, it is Sochu running between the two rooms because I actually had the door open. Luke is gone. His ship got underway this morning. And so I know that no one else, except for when Dixon barks at the mailman or the postman or UPS, no one's making noise in the house. But Sochu is running between both rooms. If you hear her, I'm sorry. It happens. But this one in Bohemian Girl, it's the one that I've been reaching for the most as far as like a peachy shade. I do love the bright tones, which leads me to another bright shaded blush. Sochu, come here, sweetie. She zoomed right into the restroom. All right, this one is from Patrick Ta, and this is where the first time we saw a blush duo where it was powder and cream, and it was all over TikTok where everyone was talking about how you put the powder down and then the cream on top, and it wasn't normal, but why are we doing it? But it looks so amazing. The first time we saw that and everyone was talking about it was the Patrick Ta. This is the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in She's Vibrant. This is one of the darker shades. There is one, it's like a plummy purpley shade that I want to get, especially after using the Berry Pop palette. I was like, I might be able to pull that off. This is so beautiful and luscious. This pinky corally shade, it looks on camera a little like leaning orange. I don't like orange or tangerine shades for some reason. I like peach. It's a little bit lighter, but not the like bright orange. This is so stunning. And the cream is underneath the plastic, so you don't swipe your powder into your cream, which is, it's appreciated. But I have been loving this one as well. And then the last blush, I swear, the last one. This is a cream matte blush. And I bought it in the spring from Charlotte Tilbury. But I rediscovered it in the end of December, beginning of January, and was reaching for it the most during January. This is the Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand in Peach Pop. So gorgeous. This shade, I mean, the container's not doing it justice. It is a very beautiful orangey, I just said I don't like orange, but this one blended out is just a beautiful peachy shade on the skin, and it's not too overpowering. I will just build it, dab it onto my blush brush, pat it on, blend it out, and just let it be nice and glowy on the skin. Of course, I do put it on before I put my powder on, so when it sets, it is absolutely stunning and looks like it is my skin. That is one of the things I have been loving about cream products. I was terrified knowing that I can be a very oily person, especially in the summer. I would stay away from cream products all the time. I would see them on other people and I was like, oh, those are so beautiful. I'm not doing that. But I conquered my fear. And if you do them properly, which for me it is primer, foundation, contour, bronzer, concealer, and then my blush, and then I set it with powder. And it looks stunning. I absolutely love how it looks like my skin without actually, because some powders can look like they're sitting on the skin and it's just not cute. But I started to love cream products in 2023. So those are the blush products that I have absolutely been reaching for. Now, I usually do highlighter next, and I have two. They are not, one is new, last year-ish, maybe 2022. But I didn't have any like highlighters in my collection that I looked at. And granted, I have a lot of highlighters, But when I was looking at them, I've been using a lot that are like discontinued. You can't pick them up. If you saw my highlighter declutter, I have 2 drawers of highlighters. I'm working on it. But the 2 that I reach for the most, and I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter, but it's discontinued. It was limited edition. It came back when I started my channel, and I have it. But there is a dupe in the drugstore, and it is from Revlon. This is the Skin Lights. It literally looks like dragon scales pressed into the pan, but it is also what I have on my cheek right now. It is so beautiful. It's so gleaming. Just look at that. And I feel like it doesn't matter how dark or light I get, this absolutely looks stunning on my skin. It's so beautiful. Now the other one, you can pick this one up from Sephora, and I have not been disappointed by any of their products that I have tried out. Their primer I have repurchased twice. Their mascara I just received in a subscription box, and I really liked it. It's actually what I have on my eyelashes today. I wore it to work. This is the Cali Ray Highlight Beach Gleamy Hybrid Feels Highlighter in Moonlight Beach. This is the one that's a little more gold toned. They have a cool toned one, but I love this one. So this was the Revlon, and then this is the Cali Ray. So if you want something that is a little more icy but not like super cool toned, you do the Revlon. If you want something that is going to pop on a like freshly tanned skin and gold toned, that's the shade right there. Those are honestly, what's crazy is for 2 drawers and looking at all my highlighters, I was like, these are the 2 that I reached for the most. So that's saying something. I really thought I was going to have more highlighters when I was going back through the notes for my videos and like just thinking about what I wore every day. My everyday for work was the Revlon Skin Lights or the Amrezy. I would go between the 2, but it's got that shine, but it also can be toned down for when I have to go to work and I can't have a beaming in your face highlight. It is still beautiful and not overpowering. Y'all, I feel like I have been like just speed talking. I'm sorry if that's how it comes across. I don't mean to, but I also don't want to take up all of your time while talking about all the products I love. For eyeshadow palettes, and I was like, oh, I could wait till the end, but let's talk about the eyeshadow palettes now. Actually, we're gonna start with the loose pigment that I grabbed out of my collection. I used this on New Year's Eve, and then I couldn't stop reaching for it, and I would wear it to work. It is so radiant and gleaming, and it's literally in the name. This is the Kema Cosmetics Loose Glitter Pigments in Radiance. This shade all over the eyes, absolutely stunning. If you have not seen my video for my New Year's Eve makeup, which was a 1920s themed Great Gatsby murder mystery, I used this pigment all over the eyes after I smoked out the edges. It was so stunning. I didn't even have to use a glitter glue to apply it. It went straight onto my eyeshadow primer, and I was able to put it on with a dry brush. So beautiful, so gleaming. It didn't dust everywhere. Oh, I will use this all the time. So beautiful, especially if you like a champagne looking like eyeshadow. It is beautiful. All right, I'm gonna start with the palettes, my favorite palettes, but in the order of the ones that I used the least, but used the most, if that makes sense. This one I reached for quite a bit, and it has the shades that I absolutely love and adore, definitely like on the mauvey pinky shades. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Sunlit Seduction. These are not cheap at all. Best time to buy these when there's a sale on her website. Sephora will do a sale. Pat McGrath Labs, her bundles or sales, perfect. I have picked up the most from her site because of the sales that she does. Sometimes it's 30% off, sometimes it's buy one get one, just depending on the price point on there. Definitely go and check out her site if you have not before, and make sure that you get the notifications sent to you because you do not want to miss out on some of those sales. This palette, look at how stunning it is. The pinky mauvey shades into the cranberry, Absolutely gorgeous. These chromes right here, spectacular. I will swatch them very quickly. So those 4 swatched, look at how beautiful, and they just look so wet when swatched. On the eye, gorgeous. I use this quite a bit in January, and I feel like I'm going to use this quite a bit in February as well. I mean, it's definitely Valentine's Day vibes for me. Let me know your thoughts. They're just so stunning. And that's just 4 of them, not all of them. This one didn't get used as much only because it was literally the last video of January when I reviewed it. I did reach for it a couple more times before I traveled to Michigan. This palette, also from Kama Cosmetics, this is the Skulls and Roses palette. Also their first eyeshadow palette that I know of, but this has some beautiful shades. There's as many mattes as there are chromes, and they are multi-chromes. So they mostly have a shift. There's only, I think there's like 1 or 2 that don't have like shifts, but have more like glitter in them. The shades in here are beautiful. If you haven't seen this video, go check it out. I swatched every single shade, talked about the ones that I was gravitating towards the most. This shade right here, Dazzle, is absolutely stunning. I have used it with Raven and Enamor, and then Cryptic in the crease. It is so beautiful, especially if you like a neutral, but in that video I did not keep it neutral. I was playing around with some of the cranberry shades and just having a good time with this palette. They do have it on their site for pre-sale again, so definitely go check it out if you're looking at picking up any of Kama Cosmetics and you want a palette form instead of the loose pigments. It's beautiful, and it is absolutely stunning on the eyes. Now this next one came out like November, December time frame, but I reached for it a lot because I liked the grungy shades that are in this palette. And this is the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge. I love the packaging for it. It's just mirrored. A lot of her palettes have like her face on it. This one does not. But the color story is to die for. My high school self wants this palette so bad. Just the shades alone. You have some of the mauve shades, you have some tan shades, fairly neutral, but then you have the deeper, darker tones to play around with. And then the shimmers are absolutely stunning. This one right here, which is Rebel, it is so beautiful on the eyes. I use that one the most. But this palette, and I've actually used it a couple times for work because I can use this shade stand up along with some of the tan shades to just kind of define my eyes like I do. This one, I did these, I used the shadow sticks from Nude Sticks to do my eyeshadow for work today, just to play around with them. I haven't used them in a while, but this palette, absolutely love this for work. And then just any other time in between. The shades are absolutely stunning. So if you need a darker, grungier palette, this palette's there. Absolutely grab this quite a bit for when I wanted darker shades. And then this palette, I am so in love with it. I have traveled with it to Spain. It went with me to Florida for Christmas. It went with me to Michigan this past weekend. I love this palette, and it is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. This is so beautiful. I also love the packaging on this. Just look how gorgeous it is. It's got like a 3D effect with the cover. But this palette is definitely something I can reach for. Keep it pretty toned down and then deepen it up if I want using this brown shade. But one of my favorite shades in here is this one right here, which is Mia. When you apply it to your eye, just by itself, it looks like water. It has glided? Like you just placed water on your eyelid. I did, one of the days that I was in Michigan, use the shade Muse and then put this on top, and it just gave it a different dimension. The shades in here are beautiful. I have 2 pinky shades. I have some tan shades. I have a dark brown shade to just kind of like build it up. But I absolutely gravitate towards this palette. There's a couple other ones that I used in January, but not as frequently as I did these four. So let me know if there's any palettes that you were using that you want me to try out that I haven't talked about, or maybe you think they're in my wheelhouse. Let me know. I'm interested to know your thoughts on and what your favorites were in January. Okay, let's see. For brows. And this one might surprise you because I tend to use my Benefit Precisely My Brow pencil a lot. But this one I picked up towards the end of the year and have been using it nonstop. I actually think I need to purchase a new one here soon. This is the Melt Perfectionist Brow Pencil. I love this. So it is in the shade dark brown. I love that it's got the spoolie. This has a beautiful angle to it. And it makes it so easy to fill my brows in. I used it today just to kind of like flick it through before I went to work. Whereas sometimes I can make it a little more defined and look like, you know, more intense brows. Or I can just flick it through with barely any color and they just get nice and fluffy. But then I also pair it with the Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax. One of my favorite brow waxes. I actually just repurchased it in December when I went home to see my mom and dad. I forgot it. 100% forgot my old one. I probably needed a new one, but I repurchased this in December with all the crazy crowds for Christmas. I love this brow wax. There's a couple other ones that I used just randomly, sporadically throughout January. But if you look at any of my drop down of the products that I used, this one is in probably 95% of my videos. It's how I get my fluffy brows. I pull it through the tip, I pull it through the end all the way to the front of my brows and then flake it through. And it helps my brows stay up and look so nice and fluffy and not just like small and scarce, because that can happen. But those I love for brows. Liner, and I was actually really surprised. I was looking at for my waterline. I'm not gonna say there's a favorite. I use them because they stay put. If I had to pick a favorite, it's probably the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On. That stays in my waterline. It doesn't move. It is beautiful. But for eyeliner, and I bought this last year, this is the Urban Decay 24/7 Inks. I love this it reminds me of school when we all had those little grips on our pencils. It makes it so easy. The other thing with this liner, the tip, so far it has not splayed, and it's a brush. It looks like it might be a felt tip, but it is a brush. This actually gives the most precise wing, and then I can just make it so tight to the eyelashes that I'm not blocking all of my makeup. Because that is one comment that I got was, you know, sometimes my eyeliner got so far out there that I was blocking the eyeshadow that I had just done. I understand that 100%. This, however, makes it so easy and so precise. And I know I'm going to need to repurchase this soon, but I love this so much. And you can hold on to it so tightly, or for me, I've been finding that I've been holding on to it further back, so I have more of a like light touch. Whereas if I'm too close up on it, I just like too much pressure is how I get that like thick wing, which is not cute sometimes. Now, mascara. And I have one in each category. I actually get a lot of compliments on this one when I use it. And it is so good from the drugstore. This is the Maybelline Falsies Surreal. The packaging, it's so cute. I love the shade on this. And then the brush. There's so many bristles. It just helps pull all the lashes apart. Such a good mascara, especially at the drugstore. And even then, and we talked about this in my new drugstore video, I've been talking about how, yes, we have makeup from the drugstore, but it seems like the price point is getting closer to the price point of some Sephora products. I don't know if you feel the same way. Let me know if you do. But that's why I love going to find new products at the drugstore, is because they're affordable. And sometimes you don't want to spend $60 on a foundation when you go to Sephora. Sometimes you want to spend $9, $10, $11. But there are now foundations at the drugstore that are like $17. So we're closing that gap And I don't know that I like that. Let me know your thoughts. Do you feel the same way? Do you buy your makeup from the drugstore? Have you tried anything from there that you absolutely love? Let me know. I'm interested. I love trying out new things that you guys suggest. And then from Sephora, as I'm saying I don't like their price point, I don't. I like to save my money. This mascara, I absolutely love. It 100% is in the name. Flick it on, only need a coat. I've even gone in with a second coat and I was like, it wasn't needed. This is the Huda Beauty One Coat Wow Mascara. Love this. I also get compliments when I use this as well. It is so good. This brush is so ginormous. Look at how big, and the bristles are so like tiny and spiky. At first when I saw this, I was like, that looks like it might be painful. It's not. It actually goes through the eyelashes so beautifully, and it just makes it look like you are wearing a pair of falsies when you're not. It is so beautiful. I have her other mascara and I like it because it's like the lengthening and then one side is volumizing, but that's a lot of work. I just want to use one. I've done the mascara cocktails. It takes time. But if I can use one mascara and get my eyelashes to look exactly how I want it, yes, please. Now, usually after I do mascara and I let it dry down, I do my setting spray. I was looking at my setting sprays. And yes, I tried a lot the end of 2023. I have been sticking with the same one through December, January. It is the most used in any of my video comments. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Are we surprised that I have the ginormous size that they came out with last year? I have the mini for when I travel, but I refill it out of here so I don't have to go and buy a mini when I have the deluxe size of the Charlotte Tilbury. I absolutely love this setting spray. My makeup just does not move. I used it today. You guys, I had ramen for lunch, and if you've had ramen before, you know the noodles they slurp everywhere. You get the soup down your chin. I haven't touched up. No touch-ups necessary. It stays put. My makeup doesn't disappear. It doesn't run. I used it for my makeup when I was in Michigan, and even with crying, it didn't look like it. If you want your makeup to stay where it's supposed to be, not run, not show your tear marks, this 100%. I love it. One of my favorites. Okay, I think we are on to lips, and then we have fails. All right, so for lips, I have three lip liners. And any shade from Natasha Denona, this is just the Newberry Pop because I love that entire collection. The only lip stick that I have right now, because I have been using something else on my lips almost every single day, is the Natasha Denona Berry Pop lipstick. But the lip liner, the other nude lip liners that she has, also really good. They're just so creamy on the lips. Beautiful. We'll talk about the lipstick because it's the only lipstick I have in front of me right now. This is beautiful. When you're checking out the Kama Cosmetics and the Berry Pop Cheek Trio, this is in that video. It is so beautiful, just so luscious on the lips. I loved it. I used it a couple different times after I shot that video, and I just love it. It feels so nice on the lips. And it doesn't, I hate when I use a lipstick or a liquid lipstick and it dries out my lips. This doesn't do it. It is a cream formula. It feels good, and it doesn't make my lips look crazy with all the lines. No one wants that. The other two lip liners. This one you have seen in every other video. It is in every drop down talking, especially when I use a nude lipstick. This is the Huda Beauty Lip Contour 2.0 in Pinky Brown. This shade 100% is my favorite. I will pair it with my MAC, the Bodacious Liquid Lip or whatever. Love it. And I didn't pull that liquid lip out. I haven't used it that much because I've been using a lot of lip gloss because my lips need the hydration in the winter. But the Huda Beauty lip contours, beautiful, so nice on the lips. They just stay put. And then the one that I just picked up, and I don't know why I haven't used her lip liners sooner. This is the Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil in Divine Rose. I picked this up when it was on sale. That is really the only reason I picked it up. I watch Kathleen Light's channel all the time, and in her monthly favorites, this lip pencil is always in there. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to spend that much on a lip pencil. Like, I barely like lining my lips as it is. If you've watched any of my videos when I'm talking about lining my lips, it's just not my favorite thing to do. So I don't buy a lot of lip liners. But when I saw her sale and I bought the Divine Rose Quad as well as the lip gloss, I was like, okay, well, it's on sale. Let me pick up one of the lip liners. This is so creamy and so beautiful on the lips. So freaking good. And I hate when I go to sharpen a pencil and it like gets stuck in the sharpener. I don't have that issue. This is so good, and I'll wait for the next sale and I'll buy a couple other shades. But it is absolutely stunning. With that being said, I did pick up her lip glosses. So I do have the Divine Rose. That is actually what I have on my lips right now. It just is so juicy and it fills in all the lines and the lips look plump. I also have it in the shade Flesh Fantasy. But these lip glosses are so, so good. I bought the Divine Rose when it was in like a bundle. And then when they had the sale, which was like a week later, I bought the Flesh Fantasy along with the lip liner. They are so, so good. So if you're looking for a really juicy lip gloss, and I could probably use a touch up. This one is so delicious on the lips. Look at that. It's so juicy. The last set of lip products that I have, you should not be surprised. If you have seen this on your Insta feed, your TikTok feed, your YouTube feed, they have been viral, and for good reason. They stay with me all the time. They're in my wallet, they're in my purse, my uniform pockets. These are the Tarte, what are they? The Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. And then I just have the regular Juicy Lip. This one was my first one in the shade Rose, which is currently in my uniform. This one is in the shade Fig, which is just kind of like a pinky brown shade. It is so beautiful and juicy on the lips. I love this for work. The plump ones, I can't wear to work. They have glitter in them. But when I'm not at work, I reach for these all the time. I have them, I actually have a fourth shade, and I think it's in my backpack. It's in Peach, but Berry Shimmer Glass, such a beautiful berry shade. And then it has the gold glitter in it, or it's red and gold. And then Rosy Mauve Shimmer. This one is a little more cool toned and it has like silver glitter in there. And then the Rosy Copper Shimmer. I first saw this and I was like, that is not a shade I would gravitate towards. And then I bought the 4-pack bundle for the Fig shade. I absolutely love this. It does look a little more like coppery, hence the name, but it is so beautiful on the lips. If you're interested in the Maracuja Juicy Lips, the glitter ones aren't for everyone. If you don't like glitter, I mean, you don't feel it. It's not gritty, but it is really beautiful and sparkling on the lips. But if you want just a like neutral shade, the regular Juicy Lip, I love these. Like I said, the rose shade is currently in my uniform pocket, and then this one is in Fig. I love them. They are stunning. Okay, you guys, this part I don't like. I never like finding a product that I don't like. I want to be like optimistic and everything's gonna work and look beautiful on every skin tone, skin type. I never like having fails, but it happens. The biggest fail I had in January, and I have tried this multiple times, different ways, different primers, different skincare prior to my primer, prior to applying it, with a bronzer, without a bronzer, because they released a bronzer. My skin does not like it. This porous area does not like it. It just kind of like sank into my pores, and then the rest of my skin had no coverage. And I was like, man, really kind of sucks. I tried it with no primer. This is the Physicians Formula Diamond Perfector Mineral Wear BB Cream. I love when I can find a BB cream that just does my skin justice. I have, what is it, Perlice. They have a BB cream that I absolutely love, and it looks beautiful on my skin. This does not, my skin doesn't like it. I have tried putting it on with a brush. I've tried with a sponge. I've tried with my fingers. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I am going to see if I have a friend who maybe it works better on them. But like maybe if they don't have pores or like wrinkles, it just doesn't work. Not for me. Let me know. Have you tried this out and it worked for you? I would love to know like what your skin type and condition of your skin is, because I'm sad, you guys. I really wanted to like it. I really did. And then this other one is mostly because it is too light. And I went on their site to see if there were other shades. There aren't. We have talked about this, not me specifically, but other YouTubers, other people in the beauty community have talked about shade ranges. At what point do we only offer one? Like when I was fair, I could use whatever and just kind of like gently tap it on and build it up. But I can't use this. This is the Physicians Formula Healthy Glow Mura Mura Butter Bronzer and Blush. It's beautiful in the palette or in the packaging. And it smells so delicious. But this does not show up on my skin. I had better coverage with the mineral bronzer. I just dropped the brush out of here. I had better coverage and buildability with the mineral bronzer that I got from Physicians Formula that I bought at the same time. They were all released at the same time. This, on the other hand, disappeared on my skin. The blush lasted for a little bit, but it didn't do what I hoped it did. It just didn't do what I hoped it would do. And it wasn't like, you couldn't tell. You just couldn't tell. So I wish they would put this out in more shades. Although I do remember Butter Bronzer started out as only one shade and it was a cult favorite. But they did expand the range eventually. So I'm wondering if they will, depending on how people like this, if they'll expand the range. But I can tell you right now, this disappears on my skin. So for me, it was a fail. And I'm sure I have a friend who would love to get their hands on it and add it into their collection. But those were the only two fails I could like think of the most. Like I said, I thought about this on our drive back from Michigan yesterday, and I was like, oh, let me go through and think about it. Now that it's a plan to continue to do these each month, I will start keeping notes on what worked and what didn't work and do better about that. Now, if there's other categories you would love me to add into it, this time I am just starting out with the beauty, makeup type of things. If you want to see the skincare I was using, or I know Kathleen will talk about books she's been reading. I just haven't had time to read any new books. But let me know if there's any other categories you would like to see my favorites for each month. Let me know in the comments. I will definitely talk with you guys down there. But you guys, if there are any other products you think I should try out that I didn't discuss, maybe I haven't tried on my channel, let me know and I will definitely go check them out. But you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications of new videos. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Until my next video, you guys, bye. I'll see you in the next one.